All right, aloha, Tulsi Kratz and radical independents, Bernie Kratz, whoever is out there watching these videos. Um, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm starting to lose my patience with the reality that I'm witnessing, okay, which is a manufactured reality in a sense, in some senses, okay? I mean, look, we can all just ignore this. We can do our own thing, live our lives, and not care about uh, the endless wars that continue to be propped up by so-called liberal newspapers, liberal outlets, people who are supposed to be the gatekeepers, people who are supposed to be doing responsible journalism. This article was sent to me a couple of times. Honestly, I didn't even want to do a video today, but this got me so frustrated that I donned the Tulsi apparel, and here I am. What exactly is Tulsi Gabbard up to? Okay, first of all, it's a rhetorical question because everybody knows Tulsi Gabbard is fiercely independent, and she's campaigning to become the Democratic Party nominee. What has happened in recent weeks is because she refuses to go quietly into the night, they have to recycle the hit pieces that they launched early on. And, you know, other than the Assad apologist thing, let's take a quick look at this because this really shows how broken our media is, quite honestly. And also, by the way, this reinforces the idea that the primary is rigged. This reinforces the stuff that Tulsi Gabbard has said. So it's amazing that they put this article out there because they're essentially verifying what Tulsi Gabbard has been saying all along. As she injects chaos. Oh, what's the chaos? What is the chaos that she's injecting? She doesn't participate in the primary. And again, I love the rigging in quotes. Her own party of rigging. Ooh, because it sounds like what Donald Trump would say, right? And you can't use that kind of language. See, this goes to the heart of everything. It's all of those TYT progressives out there. Oh, did she say something that was favorable of Trump? Or was it something that Trump would say? Well, then we can't have anything to do with her. Even if she is for completely overhauling the government and getting us out of endless wars, we can't have the language that she's using. By the way, working class folks, they understand the term rigging. This is rigged. We know it's rigged. We knew it was rigged in 2016. If you're a Bernie supporter and you're watching this, this is why you need to be a Tulsi supporter. Because it's happening to her. The hit piece articles that are written on both Tulsi Gabbard and Bernie Sanders, absolutely mind-boggling. Just what they're doing to these two good people who have decided to put really their lives on hold and serve their country. All right? Okay, so again, praise from alt-right internet stars. Can't wait to see who those are. White nationalists. Here we go again. Here we go again. See, this is why identity politics is going to be the ruin of everything. Because what defines a white nationalist? Somebody who likes to live in America who happens to be white? Because seriously, that's your definition right now. I'm white, kind of, right? Borderline Sicilian, I don't know. Russians have praised her. Can't have any Russians. Did Russians praise Obama? Did Russians ever praise Hillary Clinton? Okay, and here's the chaos. Here's the picture which captures the chaos. Here she is campaigning in Berlin, New Hampshire. And Lisa Lehrer. It's a name that just rolls off the tongue. Could be Lehrer. Don't care. She leads off with Bannon. Oh, President Trump's former chief. This is like, these are talking points from what? January? Richard Spencer. Here we go again. Ron Paul. Oh, that evil Ron Paul. That anti-war Ron Paul, who has... I mean, I don't think the guy has a warmongering bone in his body. One of the great figures on the political scene in recent years. Her libertarian instincts. Ooh. Franklin Graham finds her refreshing. Why? Because she speaks the truth. You can't have someone like Franklin Graham liking you, that controversial guy who runs Samaritan's Purse, who, by the way, is doing all the heavy lifting right now down in what's left of Grand Bahama Island. Just throwing that out there. I know, you can't like somebody because some of their beliefs don't match up. Far-right conspiracy theorists like Mike Cernovich. Okay, look, I know who Mike Cernovich is. Who cares? Who cares? She's got a good energy, a good vibe. You feel like this is just a serious person. You do. She is. She seems very Trumpian. No, she doesn't seem Trumpian. Here's why she's not Trumpian. The only way she's Trumpian is she's anti-establishment. But Tulsi means it. Trump didn't, Mike. So, Mike, what things has Trump done that's been really anti-establishment? Like making the rich guys richer on Wall Street? Among her fellow Democrats, Tulsi has struggled by polls that you guys cite, barely cracking the 2% mark. But she's in the debates, so she must be doing okay, right? She's now injecting a bit of chaos into her own party's primary, threatening to boycott. How is that chaos? If she doesn't show up, why is that chaos? It's one less person that they have to ask questions to. What is with this? This article, it's like written by an 8-year-old. It just is. That's left some Democrats wondering what exactly she is up to in the race, while others worry about supportive signs from online bot. Is everybody with a contrasting view a bot? Can you have another view and not be considered a bot? And the Russian news media. Can you give us an example of which is it RT America? You know, that channel where all the real progressives go? The real independents, where they go because MSNBC won't hire them because they speak truth to power. And yeah, it's a Russian-sponsored television channel. I don't know if that's it, but the Russians basically let people say what they want. Sometimes they're even critical of the mother country. Perhaps strangest of all is the unusual array of Americans who cannot seem to get enough of her. Like me, this is me, on podcasts, online videos, guilty, Twitter feeds, alt-right, who are the alt-right internet stars? We had Cernovich, again, white nationalists, libertarian, so you just keep repeating the same thing that you just wrote, but you don't really add any substance to what you're saying. Biggest boosters of Mr. Trump heap praise on Miss Gabbard. No, there are a lot of people who understand why Trump won. They like her support for drug decriminalization. Yep. They like what she sees as censorship. Yep. By the way, Trump isn't for prohibition and national prohibition. Okay, so big gap here. Oh, 4chan. The notorious online message board where some right-wing trolls and anti-Semites fawn over Miss Gabbard, calling her mommy and praising her willingness to criticize Israel. Can I just say something? And Trump, by the way, isn't that different from Trump, who completely is enamored with Israel? What is this article? This article is so mind-bogglingly off base. In April, the Daily Stormer, a neo-Nazi website, took credit for Miss Gabbard's qualification for the first two. No. First of all, there are individual donations that were raised, and then Obviously, I don't know if she needed 1% in the polls, but she had enough support. So I don't know. Because someone takes credit for something, then this is the worst guilt by association thing I've ever read. Brian Levin, who is basically one of these tribalist, any blue will do, the seal of approval within white nationalist circles. Unbelievable. If people have that isolationist worldview, there is one... You mean anti-war? You mean anti-war? Like Code Pink? Hey, Code Pink, can you guys comment on this? Can somebody watch this video and send it over to Code Pink and see if they have a response for this? She is the only fervently anti-war candidate. We are living in a warfare state. Okay? Ms. Gabbard has disavowed some of her most hateful supporters, castigating the news media for giving any oxygen like they are doing on this article. I'm writing about the stuff that I'm talking about. I'm going to include all those people that I'm talking about to make my article seem so much more relevant. Oh, but her frequent appearances on Tucker Carlson's Fox News show have buoyed her support in right-wing circles. Yeah, here's the thing about the right wing, okay? Typically, the right wing isn't for Medicare for all, okay? The right wing is typically not for free college. And by the way, if those things are now right wing, you might as well spin me up and turn me on my head, and I'll do the next video upside down. Okay? Because she's in more alignment with the Green Party. Is the Green Party now a right-wing organization? And I didn't know. I didn't know that being anti-war and questioning our, what I would consider to be unbridled and uncensored support for Israel everything that Israel does. I'm scrolling. I don't know what to do. I mean, both Miss Gabbard and her campaign refused requests. Why? Why do you think they refused requests? Because this is kind of like the NPR thing. And they start, I'm not reading the whole article, by the way. I'm not. I just can't do it. Even some political strategists who have worked with her are at a loss to explain her approach to politics. Okay, here's her approach to politics. She is who she is. You get what you see. And if you don't like it, you don't have to vote for it. Pretty simple. Okay. And they take a picture, and the picture is not flattering of the people they took a picture of. That's just typical of toxic fish wrappers like this one. She's a very talented person, but I'm just not sure. I just don't know what to say about the campaign exactly, said Mark Longabaugh, a Democratic strategist who worked with Miss Gabbard when she was campaigning for Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont in 2016. There is potential upside for Gabbard. Drawing more attention could energize her donors and perhaps attract more supporters, extending her candidacy's lifespan. Well, she's already doing that. She's already doing that without the help of this hit piece. This hit piece is not going to help her, and nor is all of the so-called chaos that you talk about. Yet there is only confusion for several Democratic Party officials, activists, and party officials. Hold it. Democratic officials, activists, and party officials. Okay. That sentence seems a little redundant. I don't know. These are all the same things, right? Democratic officials, activists, and party officials. Can we just say there was only confusion for, officials, but or activists who privately say they have been a little spooked by Miss Gabbard. Spooked. Oh, like those people in the CIA, huh? So they essentially took like people are starting to call CIA and deep state people, which you've heard, I'm sure, on other channels. And I was a little spooked by the word spooked, because I don't know if it's an appropriate word to use at all, but for deep state people, it fits perfectly. Doesn't fit for Tulsi Gabbard, okay? Rival campaigns worry about her unpredictable attacks. Oh, you mean, and they're going to talk about her sharp jabs against Senator Kamala Harris. Not to say that everything she said about Kamala Harris was true. You know who they're worried about, people? They're worried about Elizabeth Warren. They're really worried. Oh, and they quote Neera Tanden, Jimmy Dore's favorite, a longtime policy advisor to Hillary Clinton, who now leads the Center for American Progress, a liberal think tank. These, you know what? Journalism, I'm done. I'm not reading anymore. Journalism in the old days used to kind of be about just reporting the facts and letting people figure it out. The whole idea that you're writing an article and your first paragraph talks about guilt by association, support that Tulsi Gabbard isn't seeking. Although she is okay with libertarians, independents, Green Party, whoever, any of those groups who want to come on board and support her candidacy. What she's not into is identity politics and tribalism, and clearly her anti-war message. And look, a lot of times when I say it and when other people say she's anti-war, so that's a threat to the establishment, it really is, because their thinking now is positioned in a way where you can't have a contrary view. In other words, you're an adult if you believe in endless war. You're naive. You know, they put Ron Paul in there because they had him in there. You're naive to think, who, by the way, on domestic policy is day and night away from Tulsi Gabbard, the opposite. But you're not an adult. You're not a serious political thinker if you're for endless war. Now, I know there are a lot of people that are running as DSA people. I'm not too thrilled with the letter S, so I'll just call them DSAs. You DSAs, stop talking about identity politics. Start talking about anti-war. Stop talking about bringing those resources back home, a peace dividend, as Tulsi Gabbard likes to call it, and you're going to win. You're going to win, especially if Tulsi and her voice get squashed. See, Tulsi Gabbard says the way the media covers this election is part of the rigging. It's part of the obfuscation of information and truth. And this article proves it. These people who write this paragraph, who basically say, you know, Laura Learer, okay, that would be a great name for Tom Brokaw to say, Laura Learer. Okay, this first article basically frames her as some kind of a, I don't know, white supremacist. Oh, the evil libertarian instincts. He's praising her libertarian instincts on anti-war, which they never mention in this article. This is a hit piece. This couldn't be a hittier hit piece. All right, and it's a crazy hit piece that, again, it flails around looking for negativity. Far-right conspiracy theorists like Mike Cernovich. You just, I don't know. And Cernovich, she seems very Trumpian. Actually, and I debunked Cernovich. She's not. She's so far away from Trump when it comes to being diplomatic, being cordial. Donald Trump has never displayed a shred of empathy for anyone. Anyone. I mean, I don't even know if he can do crocodile tears, okay? Tulsi Gabbard, I've seen her well up numerous times on the campaign trail. And please, oh please, if you make this comparison, it's only going to make people who support Tulsi Gabbard dig in further. It's also, when this whole rigging thing is over, we're not going away. We're not going to go away. We're going to form alliances with people who may vary a little on certain issues and may tend to emphasize one thing over another. But when it comes to the rigged economy and the endless war and all of the talking points basically that Bernie supporters, Tulsi supporters, and Green Party supporters, and a few of the Libertarian Party issues all pretty much can coalesce around. You go and elect somebody, or we will go and elect somebody who has integrity, who, even if we disagree with them on some of these issues, and by the way, a lot of these supposed alt-right people, they don't agree with Tulsi Gabbard on a whole bunch of stuff, all right? And so I think their beef with Tulsi is that she's appealing to people outside this very... Look, it's a very narrow gate, this New York, Washington corridor, where, again, if you read Listen Liberal, it's a class thing. She's below us. You know, she didn't go to an Ivy League school. She surfs. She's got a weird faith. Those are the things they really should just say. Just come out and say what you think is weird about Tulsi Gabbard. You know, she went on with Joe Rogan. That's kind of weird, you know? And the fact that she, I guess, has earned the support of some people that I'm sure she's not, you know, calling them up and knocking on their doors and asking them, can you please support me and tweet about me and so forth. People can have opinions. You know, there are Republicans. I know not everybody likes Rand Paul, for instance, for everything he does. But again, I'm sure there are some people on the left who think Ron Paul is great when it comes to his stance on anti-war and freedom of speech and the surveillance state. See, this stuff is starting to come together, and these people are getting scared. The New York Times, they're getting scared. A lot of these national publications who just churn out the same old boring neo-lib or neocon talking points, they're getting a little bit scared because the people might actually catch on. And with Tulsi Gabbard, we've caught on. With Bernie Sanders, especially the last time around, people really caught on to what Bernie was about. And Bernie could have taken the whole thing down if that primary wasn't rigged. The chaos, the supposed chaos that's being injected, is concern for the process. And the New York Times apparently has no concerns about the process. The dude who went over to TYT, humanist dude or whatever he was, he said, nah, it's not rigged. Oh, somebody's paying that guy. Oh, man, I wish I was getting that kind of money. Hey, by the way, I'm going to wrap this up on that note. If you can support this channel via Patreon, like $1 or $2 a month, or one-time donation via PayPal, that would be awesome. Because this is it. This is who we are. We've got this as our medium. I've got my house with a bunch of books and CDs in the background. This is my studio. Isn't it lovely? Aren't we lucky? You know what? Until they shut us down completely, free speech is where it's at. And if we're allowed to communicate freely and comment on garbage like this, because this is out and out slander and garbage. It is. And anyone, even if you're not a big fan of Tulsi Gabbard, you got to think to yourself, why are they wasting time? Like I said in one video, if she's got no chance, right? She's languishing down at 1 or 2% according to these fake polls. Why do they care so much about her? Why do this piece on her? Why not talk about Elizabeth Warren and all the amazing things she's going to do for big banks and oil companies and how she's planning on making the military greener? Yeah, why don't you focus on that stuff? But no. The hit piece, really, I guess the New York Times, this is how they sell newspapers today. Really, really pathetic. All right. A number of you set to comment, so that was more than just a little comment about 25 minutes worth of video. Remember, support me if you can, and if you can't, just keep watching. Just put all the videos on repeat play and run them on an endless loop. That's what I ask for. All right, see you soon.